back to another drop of the Spinfoil TV channel. Well, it says Artist Poet on YouTube, but that's what I'm calling it, Spinfoil TV. Welcome to Destiny 2. We're playing game. So I've gone ahead and I've leveled, I think, the lore book up for the Fellwinter's Lie. So we're going to go check it out. It's under lore. It's in this tab. It's all the way down here at the bottom. I don't know what I fucked up. I didn't get that. It's called the Laya, and we have the Mistake. So I haven't had a chance to actually read through all this. I would definitely make sure I would definitely encourage you to go ahead and try and do this. All you got to do is get kills with the gun. It seems like every 5th or 6th kill, I got a lore tab. You know, a chapter, whatever, at the beginning. Arisen Exo stood dazed in the middle of what looked like a giant library. He'd never been here before. As far as he could remember, he'd never been anywhere before. He couldn't remember anything. And all he had... Well, he couldn't remember anything. And all he had to go on was the name given to him by a strange silver drone. A name he didn't even recognize. Fellwinter. Oh, really? Our ghost names us? Well, we are the ghosts as players. Huh. That's funny. That's a theory I have. We're not the Guardians in this game. We're the ghost. Believe it or not. So our character, technically, talks all the fucking time. I mean, think about it. We choose the Guardian. We choose his class. We choose his or her gender. How they look. We choose... what weapons and things they get. We make all their choices for them, and then we just set them out there to kill. Now we control. Let's think about all the lore tabs that talk about the ghost and in relation to the Guardian. The ghosts do so much on the Guardian, and it's kind of weird, you know, that we like to think that our POV is the Guardian itself, but I think we're really actually the ghosts seen through the Guardian's eyes. Just think about that. Go read some tabs. You'll see what I'm talking about here. All around him were giant gilded shelves, half of them broken, filtered, littered with tattered books and cracked cylindrical cases. He stood on a book and probed its spine as he walked. The little drone followed him. "I know you don't trust me," it said. "But you have no choice. Who else have you got?" Oof, sounds like creepiness there. Or creepy. "I don't know," Fellwinter said. He thought for a second. "I don't know anything." "Exactly. So you should listen to me." The soaring height of the ceiling made the building feel like an open space. Remnants of an old fresco loomed over his head. Cracked and faded. Maybe it was beautiful once. Fellwinter trudged through the empty fog of his memory, trying to understand how he got here. "You're stubborn, obviously, but if we stay here long enough, you're going to die." Fellwinter tried to tune out the little drone's voice. He needed to think. He picked his way through the ocean of books, but he stopped dead when an explosion rocked the building. He looked up. Dust fell from the faded ceiling in clouds. No, I have not read this before, by the way. "See," the drone said, "this is what I mean. We have to go. A place like this isn't safe." Beside them, a computer terminal, one that looked broken beyond repair, flickered to life. The building shuddered again. A warbling female voice came over a PA system, crackling and distant. "Site-wide lockdown initiated." Then a reassuring male voice, smooth but made eerie by the warped quality of the recording. "All library patrons, please report to the nearest emergency station. If you require assistance, an attendant can help you at the reception desk." The recording broke off, and the building shook again. Metal shutters began to descend over the windows, groaning from age and disuse. Something big hit the building, and debris showered down over them. "We should hide," the drone said, and Fellwinter had no choice but to agree. They fled the library. Outside, crouched in the rubble of another building, they watched together as the library was crushed under a torrent of what looked like to Fellwinter like falling stars. "See?" the drone said. So, yeah. Those falling stars are actually the war stats going after Fellwinter. Or it could be the Cabal. They could be on Mars. I don't know. is awarded for defeating. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's see what this one is. Actually, I don't really want to do this. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is I want to talk about time to kill and damage per second. Now, in traditional MMORPGs, there's a thing called a DPS. It's damage per second. And what that entails is basically, literally like it sounds, how much damage do you barf out of your gun per second, or from your character, essentially. So, I've been thinking about what's the fastest, hardest hitting guns in the game, and what really is their damage per second. For instance, if we look at the bow, okay, we take a look at the bow. The bow can deliver quite a bit of damage, but it's a slow firing weapon. Kind of like a sniper rifle. Whereas with a carbine or an auto rifle, spray out a torrent of bullets. Does it do more DPS than the bow? While the bow is a more precision item, with enough mods and some good rolls, you can get a precision item out of the 7th Seraph Carbine. Specifically, also, the Suros regime. And then compare that against the hand cannons. You know, again, single shot, high impact, unless you're dealing with the Crimson, which is a blast of 3 bullets, and it does a lot of impact. It does a lot of damage. So, I started thinking about the fact that when everybody talks about PvP, the first thing they mention is time to kill. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, that's all fine and good, but maybe we should be thinking about DPS. Because while time and kill and DPS could be related, I think there's a significant difference in sustainability. In other words, time to kill is how many shots it takes to kill a Guardian and in how many seconds it does that. Some guns have a TDK of 0.7 seconds. I mean, it's 2 taps. In 2 taps, you're supposed to be able to squeeze off 2 rounds in less than half a second, a little more than half a second, and take down a Guardian in the head. Now, as we know, Guardians and NPC ads are 2 different things. So, let's see, I'm trying to do this, trying to multitask here at the same time. Do 2 things at once. I'm rambling. Unscripted, unprofessional, and uncaring. Submachine guns, fusion rifles, swords. Okay, so, you know, we do have to pull out a submachine gun. I do have a submachine gun in the list already here, and I do have a fusion rifle. Since I'm leveling the... Oh, actually, I got the catalyst also for this, too, by the way. Super fucking sweet catalyst. Look at that. Look at that. That's just fucking disgusting. That is disgusting. Can't wait to take this into PvP. It's going to be so raw. Anyway, so I got a fusion rifle and I got a submachine gun. We're going to be okay. And we have a sword right down here. Now, when it comes to the Black Armory, this is mostly why I have my questions. I'm trying to see how fast I can get a forge done and how quickly I can clear ads, regardless of their traits or characteristics. When going up against Hive and Fallen, the Risk Runner is fantastic. It does multiple... It does... Well, see, that's the thing, is that because the time to kill on the Risk Runner is not that great. However, because of its intrinsic perks, the Chain Lightning effect, you get more DPS out of it. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, what are the guns that have a deeper magazine, can do sustainable damage per second, and how much damage per second is that? So...
It's not much, but it's what we've got.
I'm still pushing for the specialty gun. I want the curated roll of the Tickled Orchid. Why? Just because.
The Black Armory awaits your return.
Just because. Wow, what's that? Alright, so now we're going to go to the quest markers. What are we messing with here? I just grab shit, I don't even look at it. Alright, harvesting resources, using swords and bows, and sniper rifles.
Guardian.
Okay.
Hello?
Kill people with supers in the forge. Uh-huh. And a daily heroic mission with at least 1 Black Armory weapon equipped. Perfect! Okay, here we go. Let's go
Every
do the daily
piece in our
heroic
collection tells a story. Whether it be through its elegant design, its unique makeup, or the history of its crafter.
did say heroic story or heroic adventure. Uh-oh. I may have erred. Story mission. Okay. Story mission. That's the one I wanted. Ay, ay, ay. Well, I can't back out now. So this is a good time to talk about it. So what I'm interested about with this whole DPS versus time to kill. Um, Waiting. Okay, here we go. So there's this cool little thing that Black Armory weapons can pick up. It's called Obsidian Radiance. And what it is that you get Obsidian Accelerators from the Bergusia Forge, which is perfect because today's Bergusia. And almost all my curated guns have the Radiance on them already. So that one there. Now, this is not a curated sword. This is actually a masterworked sword. I masterworked this on my own because it had everything but the balanced guard. That's the only thing that's missing is the balanced guard. And honestly, that's okay with me. I'm okay with not having that. That's alright. That's like saying that you have a handling masterwork as opposed to a range masterwork. And the gun's got really good range already. You know, it doesn't really matter too much. This gun here cannot take Obsidian Radiance, therefore it's not officially a Black Army weapon. Now that's the thing you got to remember now. When you get a bounty from the Black Army that says with a Black Army weapon, I'm pretty sure it means any weapon that can actually take Radiance. So if it doesn't take Radiance, it doesn't count. I don't want to do this one because this is an adventure, and I want the story. Go over here. I don't normally do these very often, but you know what? I really should. They're not that difficult. I'd say off-road recovery, pilgrimage, chosen, mega.
Report. I have my orders. Let's get this done.
There's just a lot of jumping in this one. The Almighty is finished. Time to go. Save the traveler, take back the city, and end this one.
I mean it.
Be
Your
brave.
wit is not helpful.
I think pilgrimage is going to be my favorite. Maybe not. Off-road recovery. Huh. You know? Bummer. Really, what do I want? None of these are actually all that fun. Let's do off-road recovery. The hell. 750, it's not going to take much.
Hive signals approaching your coordinates. Ready for an assault.
So yeah, so I'm going to try out the bow first, and then I'm going to compare it to the blast furnace, because it has a draw time of 612. And now is this apples to oranges? Not in terms of DPS, and we're thinking about how many rounds per second we can actually get there. That's going to be some major testing. I'm not really interested in doing that testing, believe it or not. I know there's probably some docs out there that people have already put together determining what the DPS on things, but DPS is also a factor of what you have here on your armor, and it can actually be influenced by your subclasses as well in certain cases. It used to be that, let's see, the Arc Strider here, because DPS isn't so much about, you know, what I'm thinking about is overall head and body shots. I only want to count the body shot. I don't want to count the critical shots, because that's kind of an unfair measuring tool, because some weapons have less crit damage than others depending on based on as a percentage. In other words, like a bow might get 10% more crit damage, whereas a hand cannon only gets 5% more crit damage because it does so much damage to begin with. Destiny is weird with their numbers like that.
I'm not sure I want to know what a monster god feeds on.
Power. And we've intercepted Red Legion transmissions about a new fragment of the Traveler that splittered off during Gaul's assault. Zol won't be able to resist its light.
It's the Taken. They're jamming me.
The Taken? Are they after the fragment?
Okay, so there we go.
It doesn't matter. Clear them out.
Alright, so that's 2087. That's on a drag. And that was at moderate range. Close range, really. And then we're going to go for the... Now this is going to be a series of bullets, so I have to be careful. Those guys out. Alright, wait. Oh, come on, guys. Work with me here. Alright, so that was about... Yeah, the bow actually does a whole lot more. So the bow is definitely going to be the one I'm taking. That's kind of what I'm Yeah, if it's a running gun kind of thing, I'm just going to go ahead and use I always go center of mass. Yeah, I have no idea why that is. It's just been my thing. That's why I can say when I measure against TV, I'm not measuring against too much as that. I need to figure out what the body is going to be. Chasing my butt. Just keep me on.
I've got a lock. The fragment is nearby, but the readings are inconsistent with other pieces of the Traveler.
Alright. Let's go find a safe spot. Ah, dang it. Waiting for my menu to come up. Yep, thank you. Alright. This. Might as well go ahead and load this because it stays forever. Do 15 seconds for the cooldown. I don't understand why they have to have a cooldown on this bullshit. I mean, you really only can have one active at a time, so why have a cooldown? It's just annoying. Little things like that. Irritating because it's like, it makes no sense. I mean, really, it doesn't matter how many of these I can spam in there. Only one's going to count. I can burn all 15. Watch. See? I can make I can put as many in there as I want. Only one's going to count. So why give a cooldown? You know, it just makes no sense. Is there anything else I could put in there? I guess we're okay. Alrighty, here we go. Oh wait, yeah, I did the matter brief. Okay. Alright, stay on mission. Oh, that's right. Note to the wise.
Zavala, assuming this fragment-baked plan works, how do you expect to take down Zol without Rasputin?
I won't have this discussion again.
I can tell you, without a doubt, Rasputin is the only way to stop Zol. We need the Valkyrie.
We've won against impossible odds before, without Rasputin.
Grounded, you take fall damage. I know it sounds ridiculous because you hit the ground, but because you were airborne, you'll take most of the fall damage. And also, if you're like jumping up in the air like this, you'll take more fall damage.
Projected some kind of shield around the fragment.
If I remember correctly, this is like the best spot to hang out, so yeah.
I don't think we can get through.
There might still be a warsat left in Earth's orbit. Let me see if I can adjust its trajectory.
We've got incoming.
Stay where you are. I'm using your position to lock on with the warsat.
Understood.
Oops. Oh, that's what it is. Some cover. Not too much of a fan of pulse rifles. Mostly it's because of the repetitive. As opposed to like handguns. bubble. Indeed.
Anna, how did you get it to fire?
I asked him. Rasputin was created to help humanity. He listens to me.
This time, the war mind listened. But are you ready to shoulder the burden the day it doesn't? Guardian, secure the piece of the Traveler and get back to Mars. It is time to go to war with a god.
Again. They should have made him a raid. Or a mini-raid. Dungeon. Not bad. So yeah, over the next couple days, I'm going to be digging around the internet, looking to see if anybody's put together any kind of data sheets comparing DPS versus time to kill, and which weapons actually do more damage per second, and which ones are more sustainable. Because that's the big thing when you're facing down large groups of ads, elites, or bosses. Is you don't just want, like, you got, okay, so you got like so you can do like 3,000 damage, in about 5 seconds, but then you got a 5-second cooldown because you're reloading. Get it? So damage per second over an entire encounter is what really needs to be measured here, because as you know, shotguns, hand cannons, rocket launchers, some actual auto rifles, even like the Tommy's Matchbox, they all have really slow reload times, and you're trying to do everything you can to speed that reload up, which is why the Blast Furnace is so great, because it has that Rampage perk on it. Or is it, what is it? Yeah, Outlaw. It has Outlaw on it. Then, of course, if you add a mod that lets you do, pulse rifle loader, to speed things up, you effectively raise your damage per second over an encounter. So that's why the difference is the time to kill. That's why TDK is mentioned more often in terms of Crucible than DPS. Whereas DPS is more about the encounter. You want to have that sustain. So that's the kind of the thing that I was trying to bring up, point about. Let's go see if I completed that bounty. And then we'll go and check out something else. Yep. Harvesting. I'm going to basically bounce off now. Thanks for watching. Have fun.